Good morning. It's Ginny and Tim from DS Tech, and we're going to talk about staying safe online
Yes.
and an acronym for shut up.
Yep.
I love it.
Tell
So-
the phishing and the scammers to essentially shut up. There's an acronym where each one of those will be a bullet point you can remember to help you stay safe online when you're dealing with the phishing.
If
and
I
scammers.
remember, I'll put it in the comments.
Yep.
Okay, so that you can check it out. But before we dive in, make sure that you go to dstech.net and sign up for our newsletter. It's a evolving newsletter. I've got all kinds of new things going in there. And email security@dstech.net if you're a business interested in any of our security scans or our free assessments.
So I guess to start, going into that, protecting yourself online is kind of the general idea. Phishing and scamming is just it's never ending. It's just evolving, getting more and more. As well as you want to tie that into also some social media awareness and what you can limit your stuff as well, because that's a common tactic. They'll scrape that for information as well, trying to phish you. So starting, let's get into the main acronym.
So right off the bat, I'm sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
right off the bat, don't put your personal information public.
Yeah, limit what you
On your
post
social
online.
media.
More and more people are kind of starting to get into that headspace. When social media first started, everyone's posting every little thing constantly. They can, but now people are realizing that that's not really the smartest thing, because people can take that information and use it to phish you and things. And the internet's forever when you put something online. So you want to make sure that you're just kind of limiting what you're putting online and being conscious so that what you put out there will be available for other people to view.
It's amazing what they find out,
Yes.
even when it's not public.
Yeah, even
So-
when you set your account to private,
Wow.
it's like there's ways to get that information and scrape it still too. So just
crazy.
so anyway, so getting into the acronym, they call it shut up. Basically, if it's sensational, that's the first one, the S. If it's something is like, hey, you can get
You want a
50% off.
65-inch TV?
Yeah, want a 65-inch TV, something extremely, or enter your email for a chance to
You
win
won.
this. A lot of that stuff's just phishing, collecting it. Just be aware of that if it's sensational, over the top looking. Another one, then the H, would be if it's hostile in nature. Because sometimes if you have an email offer, or like a scammer is private messaging you and they tell you something and you just decline it, if the second or follow-up message is way more aggressive in nature than the first one, instant red flag, this is a scam, because they're
For
mad
sure.
because you're not falling for it. So just
Yeah.
the hostile messages. Unfamiliar is the U. So if it's unknown senders, unknown sources, it's typically you get the weird email from whatever, but now on social media, a lot of times you get private messages from random people. And these random people are either bots or real people that are messaging you, trying to just phish your information. So if it's an unfamiliar person that you have no idea of, even if it's like, oh, I think I went to high school with this person 20 years ago, still be very cautious with that until you vet it, because if you're getting a random message from
Yeah.
people, that's an easy door in for them to try
You know
to
what?
click links.
I do, because I do talk to lots of people
Yeah.
on my social media profiles, and people I don't know too. But what I do is I go check out their profile.
Yes.
You can tell. I mean, if you look, you can tell.
Right. It's like, does this person look legitimate, or do they just have weird spam posts? They have actual.
Or is it a guy
words.
without his shirt on and that's it?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Or
So-
yeah.
Right?
Or
Or a
it's-
doctor, or
Exactly.
a general. There's a lot of generals. It's
Yeah.
crazy how many generals. Anyway,
So just be familiar. Be aware of the unfamiliar senders. That's the U in the shut up acronym. T again kind of goes into with the sensational. Too good to be true. So you get either free cash, or a common thing with the online is like the crypto. Donate your crypto here and we'll send you twice the amount back. It's like a scam. It's either just taking your money. If you send them your crypto, it's never coming back. You're never going to get double the money. And there's some very elaborate scams I've seen where they take videos of like Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey, and they have a looping YouTube video, so it looks like it's an active live conversation. And in the bottom, it's like, we're going to double your money, send it here. And it's like, it goes to a fake website that's all created. It's very elaborate, these
Oh,
scams that
wow.
they come up with you. So just all that stuff is a scam. No one's ever going to give
are
you
they
free
using
Bitcoin.
deepfakes on that?
Nope, it's a real video they took, and then it's on loop. That's
Oh,
one I saw
wow.
on YouTube. But I mean, there's all these scams out there where if they're saying send us your money, we'll give you double. Any of that kind of stuff with crypto is 100% a scam 100% of the time. No one's ever going to really give you free money unless it's through an exchange, a drop, things like that. And even those are very
So in
scammy,
general,
and I avoid that. So
If it's too good to be true, then it's too good to be true. Right?
exactly.
So-
No one's just going around giving people free money for fun online, as much as you wish that were to be true. Then you have the U, and the up is for urgency. So a lot of times with scammers, hackers, whatever, they're going to have a deadline. You can get all this free money, but it ends in 2 weeks. So make sure you do this in 2 weeks or we're going to end this. Or they try to get you to click the link, oh, your free giveaway for this, but only if you register by Friday. They try to put a timeline in there trying to get you to click or for
A sense of
example,
urgency.
with phishing,
of
it's common
something.
on a business. You'll get an invoice. That's a fake invoice that says, you missed your invoice. We're going to shut off your services if you don't pay this bill now. Act now. Click here. And it's a fake phishing scam trying to get you to click it. So
Now, if it's an account that you have,
yes, like it's
Like-
a legitimate business you have. What I would do is don't click that link.
exactly.
Go around them to directly to your contact at the company and work with them to see maybe there was a late bill or something like that. But work with them directly, or if it's an Amazon, your package is late. Click here to see
Log
the
into your
updated.
Amazon
Go
account.
to Amazon's website, log in on that website,
Don't
and
click
check
the
it.
link.
Do not click the link in the text message, in the social media message, or in the email. The messages are what is going to try to phish you, and some of them can even possibly run malicious code depending on how intricate it is. So
I know it's a pain in the butt. I mean, I had one recently that our accounts payable department was contacting me about an invoice, and I'm like, well, no, I paid credit card on that, so it can't be real. This is a phishing attempt. It turned out to be real.
okay,
But it was a pain in the butt because I couldn't find on the website where the invoices were in this particular case.
it can be hard to navigate to find the exact bill pay and the exact invoice you want. So clicking the link, it can be handy, but
But I didn't.
don't.
I still took the time to dig and figure out where the invoices were on that website. And sure enough, there was one. I'm like, okay, well, that one was legit, but still, I didn't click the
Better
link.
to be security conscious because
Absolutely.
that 5 minutes you spent looking for that invoice can
Yeah.
create hours, if not days, of
Yeah.
pain in the butt fixing if you got phished and your information got out. Now we got to change your password in every single account. Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
That little bit of time that may be an annoyance you're spending to go around that and check directly is always going to be better than actually falling for a phishing scam.
Yes. Yeah, all the rest of the ones were phishing scams.
Yep.
That one in particular, though, was
Yep.
real. I'm
That's
like,
good. We got you trained good then.
I'm trained.
Yep. So, and then
Shut up.
the last one on the end of the shut up, the P is for personal information. A lot of times, an actual vendor is not going to be asking you for like your social security number or anything odd like that. So if anything's asking you for like personal information outside of the bounds of just doing business, that's a big red flag. Why are you asking me, this weird stuff? And a lot of times that will tie into the social media. I guess you could say the challenge or the quizzes that you see all the time. Like my number one thing is, for one, you shouldn't even be on social media on your work computer to begin with. But if you are, never do those little, they call them like quizzes, like find your star sign or whatever. What kind of Christmas present are you? There's silly little quizzes where they trick people into answering like 20 or 30 questions. At the end of it, they give them something and they can share it on their wall or whatever. Most of those are all trying to scam personal questions out of you. So that way a hacker can then use those to then reset
out
your
your
password.
password.
Because a lot of times when you set up an account, it asks you questions like, mother's maiden name, first school, first pet, favorite teacher, whatever. First car,
Yeah.
those kind of generic questions. And if you actually answer them honestly, and now these quizzes are asking you, what's your favorite car? What's your favorite teacher from school? And they ask you all these silly questions. It's like, why are they asking me all my security questions? It can be kind of an alarming thing. And a lot of times they'll use that to where now they will take your email, they'll hit forget password. And if they have the answers to those questions, they can reset your password on you.
Speaking of security questions,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I heard once that you're not supposed to answer those truthfully.
Yep. That is a pro tip. If you are setting up an account and you just have some made up answers for everything, you will be more secure as long as you obviously can remember your fake answers. Because then if you ever needed to reset your account and it's asking you like, what's your favorite teacher? And you're like Bruce Lee, or whatever, you have some made up answer or whatever it is. A hacker,
Potato.
it can be not even a person. It could be completely, a brick building, just something
Avocado.
random. A hacker, even if they were to get your personal information, like your first teacher and all that kind of stuff, they can't even use that to reset it because it's not going to match. So
Yeah.
yes, if you are,
So where would you keep track of that information?
it depends. I mean, if you use a password manager like LastPass or things like that, they have custom fields you can kind of put and save things like that. Otherwise,
Okay.
just, I hate saying write it down in a notebook because that's not really security conscious. You never want to write passwords or anything down in a notebook. But if they're answers to weird questions, that's kind of obscure. Maybe that,
Right? If you
that's,
find it,
that to me is a little bit more,
they wouldn't know.
it wouldn't make sense why, that stuff's in there and it's not tied to anything. But Realistically, a solution where it can save it encrypted, like LastPass or 1Password, those password managers usually have spots for custom fields you can save as well too. That would be the most secure way to do it.
Thank you.
Let's see here. So
we got through shut up.
Yep, shut up basically. So next basically is social media and the kind of the ways you can mitigate some risk, because a lot of times businesses will use social media to help marketing. It's free advertising. It's very easy. But the thing when you first start doing this is you're not really sure where you start. So you might start a Twitter, a Facebook, an Instagram. You might start 5 or 6 social media accounts trying to get your name out there, and you'll realize after you start doing it enough that maybe only 2 or 3 of them are working and you're spending all of your time on those 2 or 3. Well, don't forget about the other 3 that you set up and either shut them down, log it off, get rid of that account because it's still floating out there with your name on it, and hackers can try to send messages or phish it or even crack it. And if you're not watching it, you might not even know if it gets breached. So if you have lots of social media accounts out there, take the time to disable the old ones you don't want anymore or not using, because it's very common when people start, they just start all these different accounts and then they'll focus on 2 or 3 once they kind of gain traction. So keep your old accounts and clean them up. And then same thing, just limiting what you publish. Be aware the internet is forever. Whatever you're putting out there, don't put, if you got your main business number and then you have more of like a business cell phone number that you don't want everyone calling all the time, don't put your business cell phone number on Facebook, because then it's going to be out there and everyone's going to call it all the time. So just be aware of what information you're putting out there, because hackers will scrape that information then and also phish. So usually you want 1 or 2 company emails. That's like a depository for inquiries. You don't want to put all your staff's emails on a list on a social media website. Now hackers they can personalize and try to phish every single one of those emails.
That's true.
So keep that in mind.
I didn't think of that. That's why we don't have them on there. I was wondering.
There's a reason why that the individual emails usually aren't, and they'll usually have a generic like info or help or kind of a catch-all email is how you should set it up. And then from there, obviously, when someone starts doing business with you, they'll start under, can get the direct
then
emails.
they get the contact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But at a start, you don't want to be like, here's our 20 employees and here's all their emails right here.
Even then, we still have filters in place, because you email the help desk for tickets and
then that goes
email
to
the sales department for,
correct,
stuff like that. So
and
even then
we have to be a little bit more security aware too, because of the nature of our business as well than just Joe's
we have multiple
company
layers
down here, but yes. So just keep that in mind, limiting what you're putting on there on a need to know basis. Just think of it that way. And then verify the accounts if possible. So if you're doing business with a social media that you think is, hey, I want to maybe be a partner with this company or whatever it is, verify it's a real company. A lot of social media have things in place where a business can pay a premium to become verified, and that will usually put a check mark next to them if it's like Twitter, or if you're Facebook, if you do business, it'll be like Facebook official. You see this a lot of times with celebrities. Well, they'll have an official celebrity account, because then there's like 50 parody accounts or people imitating them, things like that. So just a good check to do on social media can be see if it's a verified account. It will help you know that you're dealing with a legitimate source than a fake one. Now, keep in mind, there can be fake, people still will fake that kind of stuff too, because
absolutely.
With Twitter, it's only $8 to become verified. So people can spend money. True. You're basically spending money to try to scam people. So just be aware of that.
It's amazing how many Keanu Reeves are out there.
Yeah, exactly.
That are like following me. It's kind of crazy.
Right. that old movie was in Multiplicity, where he like cloned himself and then it turned out not to be very good.
Right.
That one.
Yep.
But yeah.
I remember another one too, where it was like, I can't remember. He was like being a stay-at-home dad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, but he cloned himself.
Right.
And it turned out to be a really bad thing. But
right. So just kind of keep that in mind with
Good
the
stuff.
Verifying the accounts, making sure they're a real, actual account. And the last thing I will leave you with is review your privacy settings. It's so often people start social media, they start posting, it starts doing good or whatever, but they never take the time to actually go into the settings of that account and maybe disable certain things you don't want being shared, that don't need to be shared. A lot of times it will try to trick you into keeping it turned on. Like if you tried to disable, say, everyone can look at my wall, for example, it might say, your certain features may be limited on our social media platform if you enable this feature. It's just fancy words to try to scare you to limit, don't be afraid of that. What you can always do is if you turn all those settings off and you realize, people aren't seeing my posts or things aren't working, go back and turn it back on again. But there's nothing, not a big deal. Just tighten up all your security settings on your accounts. That can also help, limiting the spread of information that you may not want spreading out there as well. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Does that wrap it up?
Yeah, that's pretty much the most of my
Cool. I'll put the
ramblings there.
I'll try to remember. I'll put under in the comments the shut up acronym for your reference.
And just to go through it quickly here is sensational, hostile, unfamiliar, too good to be true, a sense of urgency, and then personal.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's a quick little.
Things to keep
Okay.
in mind to stay safe online.
Yes.
Sign up for our newsletter at dstech.net and email security@dstech.net for your free assessment on your business.
Yes.
We'll keep you safe. Make it a great day. We'll see you next time.